Howdy swim fans, here with another episode of Whiteboard Wednesday, and on today's episode we're discussing how to set SMART goals so that you can reach all your hopes and dreams. Now goal setting is a continuous process, and if you do it right, you can achieve your goals in the fastest and shortest amount of time. To start, setting SMART goals is really a process to make sure that your goals are clear and reachable for yourself. Key emphasis on being clear and focused with your goals, that they're reachable and relevant and attainable for you for yourself, and also making sure that you're not setting goals for anyone else. You are setting the goal for yourself. Now, SMART is actually an acronym, and each letter is for a different component of this process. So the S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is for achievable, R is for relevant, T is for time-bound, and you can actually extend this to the concept of setting a smarter goal, adding an additional E and R, smarter. The E is for evaluating and R is for redoing, because after all, setting goals is a continuous process that requires re-evaluation and resetting your goals. Now, often what's said is in the swimming world, I want to swim faster. Now that goal is very fluffy because it doesn't really fulfill any of these components in the SMART goal process. So a better goal than swim faster that fulfills all of this is, my goal is to drop 4 seconds in the 200 short course meter freestyle at the regional championships by focusing on improving my turns, and I'll do this by taking 3 dolphin kicks per wall in every single workout. So as you can see, the difference between my goal is to swim faster, which is really fluffy and not very specific, to I want to drop 4 seconds in the 200 meter freestyle, a specific event at the regional championships, a specific competition. And how are you going to drop this 4 seconds? I'm going to focus on my turns, but how are you going to focus on your turns? By taking 3 dolphin kicks off every single wall in workout. And another goal that people often have is, I want to lose weight. So if your goal is to lose weight, again, that's a fluffy goal. It's not very specific. There's no time horizon and there's no action plan to actually achieve that goal. So a better goal would be, instead of my goal is to lose weight, my goal is to lose 10 pounds by July 31st by swimming 3 times per week for 60 minutes, meal prepping twice per week, and weighing in 1 time per week. So there's a big difference between my goal of I want to lose weight and I want to lose 10 pounds, a specific goal by a specific date with specific action items and a plan for re-evaluation and continuous progress and accountability. Now let's dive into each of these components of the SMART goal setting process. So number 1 is being specific, right? It should be clear and focused. And when you allow yourself to focus on a specific goal, it makes attaining that goal so much easier. This is the who, what, when, where, and how. So this is the action plans of how am I going to specifically achieve something that I'm focusing on. The next part is measurable. So what metrics are you tracking to keep yourself accountable over time towards this goal? They say what gets measured gets improved, and that's true in everything from swimming, fitness, business, and in your personal and professional life. Give yourself a daily, weekly, monthly, seasonal, yearly, quarterly, whatever makes the most sense. Give yourself a time horizon and a way that you can track the progress of that metric over time so that it's measurable. Next is achievable. Make sure that this goal is realistic. So ask yourself, is this goal realistic for me now? Or maybe this goal is realistic for me in the future. So make sure you're focusing on a goal that you can achieve in this specific time horizon that makes sense and is achievable for you right now. Make sure you stretch yourself but don't encourage yourself. So maybe your goal is to make the Olympic team. Maybe your goal is to medal at the Olympics. Maybe your goal is to qualify for national championships. Maybe your goal is to lose 10 pounds. Make sure it's achievable. So if your goal is to win a medal at the national championships, is that achievable right now? Are you at the level of swimming, of fitness, whatever your goal is, to actually achieve that goal in this specific time horizon? Next, make sure that the goal is relevant. So does this goal make sense for you? So is this a relevant, so in the example here of swimming faster, the goal was to swim faster in the 200 short course meter freestyle. Maybe you don't even swim the 200 freestyle, so that goal would not be relevant. Maybe your goal is to swim a mile in under 20 minutes. Make sure that the goal is really specific to you and make sure it's the right time. So we talked about making sure that it's achievable. Make sure if that goal is to swim under 20 minutes a mile, that you can achieve that in this season. Maybe your goal right now is to swim under 22 minutes, and then next season we'll shoot for under 20 minutes. So having a measurable and a process behind it allows you to achieve that goal. Next, make sure it's time bound. So we're putting a time around all of this, and what happens when you put a deadline on a goal, it becomes a mission for you. And it's a lot easier to achieve that goal when you have a timeline and when you have a deadline. So give yourself a timeline to work towards so that you can actually achieve the goal. In this example, it's lose 10 pounds by July 31st. Maybe it's December 31st. Maybe there's some other deadline. It's to swim a best time at the regional championships, the state championships. Maybe it's to do the 1,500 meters in under 20 minutes by the end of the month or the end of the week or the end of the season. So having a really specific time horizon and putting a deadline on your goal will make it so much easier to achieve it. Now it's hard because you want to set yourself up for success, but you want to avoid disappointment. So sometimes we set goals for ourselves and we don't really have a time horizon. We just have wishful thinking of swimming faster and losing weight and doing all these great things, but we don't have a deadline for them. So it's super important to be specific, focused, have measurability to this, give yourself accountability to be towards this achievement, make sure it's relevant, and then make sure you have a timeline so that you have something to work towards and try and ultimately achieve it. So here are some tips that allow you to follow the SMART goal setting process. So number one is determine any roadblocks you might have ahead of time. So let's say your goal is either to lose weight or swim faster, like these specific goals, and you know that the pool is going to be closed for 2 weeks in the Christmas holiday. So you want to know that this roadblock is going to happen. I can't swim 3 times per week. I can't swim 5 times per week like I normally do. So how are you going to get around this? So planning in advance and determining what roadblocks you might have will allow you to not get too much anxiety around actually reaching your goal because you've thought ahead about potential roadblocks. Another tip is don't chase someone else's goal. Make sure your goals are for yourself. If your best friend has a goal of going a 156 in the 200 meter freestyle, that's their goal. Let them chase it. Worry about your own goals and don't let other people's expectations impact the goals that you set for yourself. Thirdly, write down your goals. It's so impactful to have your goals written on paper or the computer, your phone, whatever it is. Just make sure you write the goal down, sort of like I did here. It's great to have wishful thinking. I want to swim faster. I want to lose weight. But if you actually write it down, track it, whether that's with an app or you writing it down on paper, just having some sort of accountability makes your success much more likely. Fourthly, anticipate setbacks. So this is a little bit different than the roadblock. So a setback could be you're progressing really well and then all of a sudden you have an injury or you get sick. So just have an understanding that you might have a setback or some kind of a roadblock down the road that you didn't anticipate. And by anticipating and expecting the unexpected, you will be in a mentally stronger position to handle whatever falls in front of your path. Now, don't set goals that other people have power over. So what that means is, setting the goal of making the Olympic team is fantastic. If you're in the United States, only 2 people, or in a lot of other competitive countries, only 2 people will actually make the team. You have to be in the top qualifying 2. You actually can't control how fast the other swimmers swim. So setting a goal of winning a championship is great, but don't let that over-dictate your SMART goal because you can't control how fast other people swim. You can't control other people's actions. So it's really important not to set a goal that other people have control over. And finally, have a positive attitude. When you're setting goals for yourself, it's really, really important to make sure you're in the right mindset so that way you can give yourself the best chance possible and you can identify exactly how to set a clear and reachable goal for yourself. And the mind controls the body and the mind is unlimited. So with that, this was Whiteboard Wednesday. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and we would love you to share your SMART goals with us in the comments or reach out directly. Would love to hear about your goals for this year and beyond.